Okay, you can get started now.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Srinvatam Sokatha Krishna Srinvatam Sokatha Krishna Krishna Srinvatamsa Katha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastha Hevadani Vidunati Suri Satam Nasta Prayesu Avatesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhakti Bhaviti Naistiki Mukham Karoti Bachalam Pangu Langhayate Girimetki Patamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isaram Sri Guru Dinataginam. Hare Krishna everyone, thanks for joining. And today's chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 27. And verse number 24 and 25. This chapter is called Attack by Chandradev on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya. Uh, verse number 24. Rusabham yavanam tam brune bilepsitam patim sankalpasto bhutanam rutaha kila narusyati. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Approaching the king of Yavanas, Kalakanya addressed him as a great hero, saying, "My dear sir, you are the best of the untouchables. I am in love with you, and I want you as my husband. I know that no one is baffled if he makes friends with you." Purport. The words Yavanas, Rishabham, refer to the king of the Yavanas. The Sanskrit words Yavana and Melcha apply to those who do not follow the Vedic principles. According to Vedic principles, one should rise early in the morning, take bath, chant Hare Krishna, offer Mangalarti to the deities, study Vedic literature, take prasad, and engage in dressing and decorating the deities. One must also collect money for the temple expenditures. Or if one is a householder, he must go to work in accordance with the prescribed duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. In this way, one should live a life of spiritual understanding. And this is the Vedic way of civilizations. One who does not follow all these rules and regulations is called Yavana or Melcha. One should not mistakenly think that these words refer to certain class of men in other countries. There is no question of limitation according to nationalism. Whether one lives in India or outside of India, he is called Yavan or Milsa if he does not follow the Vedic principles. One who does not actually follow the hygienic principles prescribed in the Vedic rules and regulations will be subjected to many contagious diseases. Because the student in this Krishna consciousness movement are advised to follow the Vedic principle, they naturally becomes hygienic. If a person is Krishna conscious, he can walk like a young man even if he is 75 or 80 years old. Thus, the daughter of Kala, time cannot overcome a Vaishnava. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami engaged in writing Chaitanya Charitamrita when he was very old, yet he presented the most wonderful literature about the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami began their spiritual lives at the very old age, that is, after they retired from their occupations and family lives. Yet, they presented many valuable literatures for the advancement of the spiritual life. This is confirmed by Srila Srinivas Acharya, who praised the Goswamis in this way. नाना शास्त्र विचारानेक निपुण सद्धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हित कारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्यकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजनानन्देन मातलिकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघु योगौ श्रीजीव गोपालौ. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Srila Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing, restoring the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principle for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three walls, and they are oath taking shelter of and their oath taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Thus, Jara, the effect of old age does not harass a devotee. This is because a devotee follows the instructions and the determination of Narada Muni. All devotees are in the disciplic succession stemming from Narada Muni because they worship the deity according to Narada Muni's direction, namely the Narada Pancharatrika or the Pancharatrika Vidhi. A devotee follows the principle of Pancharatrika Vidhi as well as Bhagavad Vidhi. Bhagavad Vidhi includes preaching what? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, the hearing and chanting of the glories of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Pancharatrika Vidhi includes Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Saksham, Atma Nivedanam. Because a devotee rigidly follows the instruction of Narada Muni, he has no fear of old age, disease, or death. Apparently, a devotee may grow old, but he is not subjected to the symptoms of defeat experienced by a common man in old age. Consequently, old age does not make a devotee fearful of death, as a common man is fearful of death. When Jara or old age takes shelter of a devotee, Kalakanya diminishes the devotee's fear. A devotee knows that after death he is going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he has no fear of death. Thus, instead of depressing a devotee, instead of depressing a devotee, advanced age helps him become fearless and thus happy. Text 25. द्वाविमाव अनुशोचन्ति बलावसाद अवगहौ यलोकशास्त्रोपनतं न राति न तदिच्छति. One who does not give charity according to the customs or injunctions of scriptures, and one who does not accept charity in that way are considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Such persons follow the path of the foolish. Surely they must lament at the end. Purport. It is herein stated that one should strictly follow the scriptures if one actually wants an auspicious life. The same is explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text 23. Yasasta vidhim usriya usrajya vartate kama karatah na sasidhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. He who discards spiritual injection and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One who does not strictly follow the terms of Vedic injunctions never attains success in life or happiness. And what to speak of going home back to Godhead. On Sastic injections holds that a householder, etc., or an administrative head should not refuse to accept a woman if she voluntarily requests to become a wife. Since Kalakanya, the daughter of time, was deputed by Narada Muni to offer herself to Yavana Raja, the king of the Yavanas. The king of the Yavanas could not refuse her. All transactions must be performed in light of the Shastric injunctions. The Shastric injunctions are confirmed by great sages like Narada Muni, as stated by Narottam Das Thakur. Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chitete Kariya Akya. One should follow the principle of saintly persons, keep scriptures, and the spiritual master. In this way, one is sure to attain success in life. Kalakanya, the daughter of the time, presently herself before king of the Yavana, precisely in terms of sadhu, shastra, and guru. Thus, there were no reason for not accepting her. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णवस्तभूत कृष्णवत भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी देदानिक नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thanks for joining and giving me the opportunity to speak on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in this chapter, we are discussing about the attack by Chandadeva on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya. So, in the previous verses, we understand that how Kalakanya approached Narada Muni, and Narada Muni approached, Narada Muni refused to accept her request, and she said that I would not able to stay in, means she caused Narada Muni so that Narada Muni cannot stay in one places. So Narada Muni has to move to different places, cannot stay in one places. And then, so after the refusal to accept Kalakanya, then Kalakanya requested, or Kalakanya approached the king of the Yavanas, whose name was Bhaya or fear, and she accepted him as her husband. So after refusal of Narada Muni's request, Kalakana approached the different king and accepted her as a husband, right? So in this chapter, specifically these are things are discussed by the Narada Muni and all. So these are covered in the previous chapter, and this particular in this chapter, we'll understand that since Narada Muni rejected the proposal of Kalakanya and the Siak approached the king Puranjana and married him. The character emphasized that unrestricted sense enjoyment leads to sinful activities and material bondage, and that true spiritual progress requires transcending the material world by following scriptural instructions and abandoning family life for the stage of Panaprastha and sannyas. The sage Narada describes the downfall of King Puranjana, who is being drawn into material illusion through sensual pleasures. A cosmic adversary, Chandadev, a Gandharva king, attacks Puranjana city, abandoned by mysterious feminine power called Kalakanya, the daughter of time or the daughter of old ages. The narrative illustrates how attachment to sense gratification, especially in youth, distracts from spiritual growth and invite ruin. The daughter of time, called Kalakanya or Jara, wanders across the world seeking a husband. Eventually, she is accepted by the king of the Yavanas in order to carry out cosmic, retribution. Uh, Through the story of Kalakanya, the chapter warns that the seeming pleasure of youth and temporarily are illusory and transient, and that attachment to them leads to decay, old age, and eventual destructions. So, King Puranjana is so absorbed in material enjoyment, especially sense gratification with his queen, that he neglects spiritual realization and is consumed by lusty activities. Chandadeva, representing time, attacks Puranjana city. Puranjana city means the body of Puranjana, with his 360 male and 360 female soldiers, like symbolic of days and night passing in a year, gradually weakening the protector serpent, the body's vital force or prana. Similarly, As king, Puranjana becomes more attached to family life and sense enjoyment. Uh, he becomes, he forget his purpose of life and losing valuable time for self-realization and spiritual progress. And then what's the role of Kalakanya played in the life of Puranjana? Kalakanya, the daughter of time, seeks a husband everywhere in the universe, but is rejected due to her inauspicious until she marries the king of the Yavanas, who instruct her to, afflict all living beings imperceptibly. She is accompanied by Prajara, or symbolizing fear, disease, or ultimate destruction, beginning the process of gradual decline that inevitably lead to death. So the narrative says that the narrative wants that the obsession with bodily and material pleasures as embodied by King Puranjana leads to entanglement in ignorance, neglect of spiritual duties, and the ultimate defeat by time. If a person is, Prabhupada mentioned very nicely in the purport, if a person is Krishna conscious, he can work like a young man even if he is 75 or 80 years old. Thus, the daughter of Kala, the time cannot overcome a Vaishnava because Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, you can take an example of Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, is writing Chaitanya Charitamrita when he was very old. I think almost 90 years, kind of, he was. And at the time he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yet he presented the most wonderful literature about the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami began their spiritual life at a very old age. That is, after they retired from their occupational and family lives. Eight, they presented many valuable literature for the advancement of spiritual life. The whole point is that this Kalakanya or the old age does not touch to the devotees. So also Prabhupada gives another strong message in the purport. In Prabhupada mentioned that he who, like he quoted from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16 and 10 and the text 23, he who discards spiritual injections and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. One who does not strictly follow the terms of the Vedic injunctions never attains success in life or happiness. In this life, uh, never attain success, in life or any happiness in this life. And what to speak of going home back to Godhead. Another very nice message by Srila Prabhupada quoted in this verse is quoted by, Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Thakur mentioned, Sadhu Shastra Guru Bhakya Chitete Kariyakya. One should follow the principle of saintly person, right? Scriptures and the spiritual master. In this way, one is sure to attain success in life. Kalakanya, the daughter of time, presented herself before the king of the Yavanas precisely in terms of sadhu, shastra, and guru. Thus, there is no reason for not accepting her. So, if one follows sadhu, shastra, and guru, the daughter of time could not do any harm to the devotees. That's what Prabhupada mentioned. In our, we should give guidance of the three sources called Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru because every moment we took decision in our life how to react to a situation. And the only way we will do it constantly and progressive way is if we have these three things in our consciousness. So we'll have to make a community around us, connect with devotees who can help us to make a journey to the spiritual world. So that is terms of sadhu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita mentioned the role of a sadhu. He mentioned that my path is very difficult. I am blind. And my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. So the guru, so that's another Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentioned that was the role of the sadhus or the saintly persons. So here, therefore, um, the guru is the most influential person in our life, and somehow or other we have to defer some of our independence to guru, and by their instructions, guidance, and by their deep vision, they can help us, the guru can help us to make decisions that we may not normally make by ourselves. And therefore, the guru also becomes a very, very important part in our journey. Then, of course, there is Shastra. The scriptures are giving the guidance, the scriptures giving us the eternal principles. If you want to know what is Shraddha, what is Dharma, what is eternal principle, you should lead by that is found in the scriptures. And so then the scriptures are very powerful. Sanatana Goswami says, Bhagavatam is my best friend. Bhagavatam is my constant companions. Bhagavatam walk with me through life. And I instilled the Bhagavatam within my heart because the scripture then becomes our companion. So it's clear that these three things, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, are super important in our life. As a devotee, we are trying to strengthen our connection with each one of these three things, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we can say we cannot understand Shastra without Guru. That's true. People say that, devotee says that we have to have a Guru to, to understand the Shastra. That is also true. But in this context, we say that Shastra is the bedrock and someone will be Guru or Sadhu if they are following the Shastra. So without Shastra, if one doesn't follow Shastra, so then he cannot be a Guru or he cannot be a Sadhu. So Shastra is the most important out of the three. Shastra is important because Guru and the Sadhu draw their authority from the fact that they are following Shastra. Personalities, we can give an example in the Shastras. Personalities like example, Daksha Prajapati, right? He was very scholarly. He was very scholar, but Daksha Prajapati doesn't have any guru. So what happened without any guru? But he knows the Shastra, but doesn't have any guru. So what happened eventually? There is destruction. He could not understand the ultimate position or the higher position of Lord Shiva. So he insulted Lord Shiva, and eventually, yeah, eventually he fall down. That's what happened. So we should understand that. So a guru is definitely required in our life to understand the the values of life or the principles of life. And if you can give another examples for example of the brahmanas, the yajna brahmanas, when the cowherd boys goes there, ask for the food for Krishna and Balaram, but they are busy in offering, they are busy in yajna, but they could not understand Lord Krishna is here. Lord Krishna is here to accept any prasadam from them, but they could not understand Krishna. But still they are busy in offering the just following the principles. That's all. But they could not understand Krishna, in their heart. So that we can say that only engaging in the sastric way of life, even though that's not ultimate goal of life, you cannot reach your final destination, because we should have, as I mentioned, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. These combines are required in a life. So another example, we can say that, I'm giving three examples. Another example is like someone has a guru, but that guru is not following Shastra. You can think about who is that. Is Bali Maharaj, right? Bali Maharaj rejects his guru Sukracharya because Sukracharya is not following the scriptures, right? So, because when Lord Bamandev came, Sukracharya asked Bali Maharaj not to promise anything to Bamandev. So he asked his disciple Bali Maharaj to reject the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Why he did that? Because the Sukracharya was not following the Shastra. Similarly, if you can see that, I gave you three examples. One is the example of the Daksha Prajapati, who is following the Shastra but doesn't have any guru, he fall down. Second example I gave it the Yajna Brahmanas, who are following the ritualistic way of life and the Vedas and the Shastras, but doesn't have any guru and they will easy fall down. Another example I gave about uh, the Bali Maharaj. He has a guru Sukracharya, but the guru does not following the Shastra. So eventually Bali Maharaj rejects his guru. So the whole point is that If you want to progress in your spiritual life, these three things, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, are very interconnected, and we need to open-minded to understand it thoroughly. So with this note, I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnava